How's that? Shall we start over again? This is great. I'm just like chatting away with myself, having a good old time. Are we live? Are we live tonight? I mean, hopefully at least you guys got to hear some of the music. That's hilarious. Maybe Sunday Night Live isn't the best idea for Karen. That's hilarious. Unmute, says Diane. Hallelujah. Good to see you. Thank you. And everybody go check out his lives and his tutorial thingy dingies. Kyle's in the house and he does lives for everyone all weekend long. We all had a great time over there. Douglas is in the house. Chris is in the house. Melissa can't hear me. I'm like reading down the line. This is so great. Well, thank you. You all have my back. And boy, I had no idea why in the world. You gotta love it. It was kind of like Theo a couple of weeks ago for the podcast. He could not get his gear to work. I mean, his computer just decided like later. Not gonna happen. Ken's in the house. Cheryl's in the house. All right. Lips moving, no words. Where are my ears? I'm sure. Rocky, thanks. I'm sorry. A bunch of you were probably trying to figure out like what's going on with my technology that she can't, I can't hear her words. This is great. All right. So, and Ollie is feeling it. I do this at least once a month on my lives. Isn't that so funny? Yeah, Allison, in big caps, fix your mic. Thank you. See, like I said, you guys have my back. I love it. Mic check. Yep, it's on. Lisa's in the house. Did I say hi to Lisa already? And I think I did already say hi to Melissa. And wow, that like went on for some time. I'm like scrolling. Yeah, that's great. Okay, Spots in the house, Gremlins. Now there's 400 that can't hear anymore. All right, we are live, and I wanted to thank you for hanging out and watching the premiere of the video that just posted of our latest beach hunt that was so bony. It was crazy. So we're going to look at some of the bones from that hunt and look at the coprolite that we found under the microscope some more. Now, you guys remember when I gave it the vinegar bath? And I have now taken it out. And when we first got a chance to see it, you probably recall just in the video, it was pretty dark. Like it was kind of like a chocolate brown color, as would be expected. But then when we saw it on the very first live, after it had been in the vinegar for not too long, I think it was only in there for about like 72 hours, it already had lost that like brown oxidation and it had turned kind of like a tan color. Um, and that continued. Some of it got worn away. You can kind of see some wear marks. I didn't prep this at all with the paraloid. I just wanted it to go ahead and eat the acid, just eat away and see what we'd uncover in our thing. So, I mean, if you just watch the video with us, this does not look like that anymore. It's the same shape, but it's definitely different colors. And so you guys are still my lip reading sucks, but I think she said I was thanking everybody, I was thanking Ken and Chris for being on the last live on Friday, and that it's weird being here on Sunday. And obviously, I'm like just slightly off of my game, not quite as prepared as usual. But it was funny because Ollie was Alleluia was just talking about how much it can take, and Kyle knows after doing what seems to be like a marathon crazy person kind of long jag all weekend long with the live streams, there's so much preparation and so much like so many little details that you got to take care of. And if one thing goes wrong, like the mic doesn't seem to be operating. Usually when I go on stage, it unmutes it all by itself. And so I don't have to worry about it. But sure enough, it was doing a weird. It was doing a totally weird. And Allison says beautiful bones. It was just a kind of mind-blowingly bony day. And like I said in the video also, I had just been there the day before, and I had walked those reef lines already. That whole shelf had been revealed the day before, and I did not find that this guy. I'm so thrilled over this guy. That that is like that's a big chunk of bone. I mean, did any of you guys have a chance to get a good guess in? I mean, I start thinking femur or something like that. It's marine mammal, most likely. It's not a vert or a vertebra. And so that leaves, any of the other heavy equipment on a marine mammal. And they have for their flippers, they basically have like the equivalent of femurs and that sort of thing. So what do you guys think? So pretty. There was a whole lot of boneses. Pretty girthy ones, right? Yeah, Rocky is so right. And I think it might have been it looks like a petrified Oreo cookie. Yeah. It really does. And it does have like this weird stratification that I'm actually a bit puzzled by. And I think that just cut off the beginning or add a voiceover. Oh yeah. I don't even think I'll fuss with it, I guess. I guess I might fuss with it. I hadn't even gotten to that. But Chris, yeah, thank you so much. Rufotris was just offering suggestions as to how to fix the blank part at the beginning of this video. I think most of the people who watch me probably are expecting some kind of strange, but I think that Douglas asked me a question about cutting the bone, and if I had had time between the premiere and this live, I would have gone and grabbed a piece of sliced bone that I've done because that, of course, that's like one of the first things you want to do is like, okay, cut it and let's see what's inside. And so many of you guys have dino bone, or you have at the very least seen it on, Kyle's lives or many other people's lives that have cut the dino bone also, or showed it off that they've bought some or what have you. Most of the bone, and I did show in the video this guy that was really tumbled. Let's see how bad that's going to be. That's not too bad. You could see in the video, it's not the best fidelity. That looks like sandstone. But when you get close to dino bone and that sort of, uh, this is not dino bone, but it has that structure that's almost like a puzzle piece. And so when you cut they're mammal bones, most of them that I've cut are large format. So it would be a piece like this that's like basically a beach cobble, that ends up not being just a beach rock, but a dino bone. So if it's not got anything distinguishable about it, those are the ones that I've been tempted to cut to see what's inside. They're fairly uniformly like a permineralized in one way on the cellular structure, and a different replacement inside the cell chambers, if that makes sense. And you guys are probably picturing your dinobone in the same way. You can see those puzzle piece, like all of the pattern of the outsides of the puzzle pieces in the cellular structure, and then the inside is agatized or it's calcified or whatever permineralized inside. And that's very, very much like these look here. And a lot of times the bone is kind of a brown color, and it is definitely permineralized. And then the inside is typically like a blue or a white, and that would be quartz or agate. And the agate ones are just beautiful. We do get some that have teeny weeny fortification lines inside the cellular structure, and so they can be pretty fancy. Hey, Bob's Rocks is in the house, and I'm just catching up a little bit. One of the things about having the guests is that it seemed like, it would be great because I could, somebody's eyes could always be on the chat, but I found myself even missing more of the chat for some reason. And so I kind of missed you all on Friday. Everything kind of went so fast that I don't feel like I really got to hang out with you. So we're back doing that. Thank you, Lisa, for the hitting the like button suggestion. And let's see. Oh, very cool. You were gonna go to Dune, Chris, but you get to hang out with the unexpected live instead. Yeah, I did not expect to go live tonight, but I've been getting back in the saddle as far as editing the videos. So I thought, okay, but it's a natural choice to air the video, and then let's go ahead and play with bones and stuff like that afterwards. Why not? And so, yeah, Kyle is agreeing. It does take a lot. And yeah, Dune books are great. Those were some of my very favorites when, I started reading uh, like bigger, kind of more adult style books as opposed to the stuff that's usually, whatever, middle school or what have you. Um, Kyle is long form live stream. That's for sure, Spot. No shorts for him. That's true. I bet he wears shorts during the summer because it gets pretty hot here. But yeah, no shorts on YouTube for sure. Um, let's see. Carpal. So Ken's weighing in on what you believe that big one is. That would be interesting. Oh, Kyle says he rarely wears shorts, mainly sweatpants. Oh, that's funny. Well, it gets so warm, and some of these jaunts out to the east of Oregon and out to Kemmerer, shorts are definitely a nice plan, although it is very dusty. Uh, Shorts and t-shirts and showers, lots of them. And let's see, Ken is being reminded of overhead views of sand dunes. Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's definitely macrocosm to the microcosm type thing. The different natural shapes that happen in sand dunes also happen inside bones. I love that. It's kind of that the Fibonacci spiral fractal, you know, whole thing. Thank you so much, Sean, for coming and hanging out. We always love seeing you all weekend long at Kyle's, and thanks for coming on over here to the live. Really appreciate it. And let's see. Manny was saying that he's got a lazy, rainy Monday going on. This has been a great way to chill out. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It has been like chilly, rainy. There was snow mixed with all of the rain yesterday and today. And so we would have had snow sticking if it wasn't alternating with the rain. So I definitely commiserate. I've got like the cozy sweater on, and I've just been trying to stay warm all day, and actually editing video was the ticket. And so I've got more coming soon. I'm trying to like just get a bunch of them done because we've got a bunch of stuff happening at the end of this month. No spoilers, but I think part of the whole community is on like mega push for making things. So, I'm trying to get this stuff, uh, rolling so that I can go ahead and spin all the plates at the same time and hopefully not drop a whole bunch of stuff, but, hopefully turning my mic on each time would probably be a great idea. And Kyle still wears pants when out rock hounding to protect your legs. That's smart. I get that. I just can't a lot of the time. I It's such a good practice too, especially boots and that sort of thing, just in case a snake decides to sidle on up next to you. But I'll wear boots with shorts. I don't care. Yeah, if it's hot. Like I don't like having too much going on as far as that's concerned. Yeah, woohoo, new vids. It's ridiculous. I have vids going all the way back to actually last winter, but my whole summer extravaganza cruising all over Wyoming and Idaho and Oregon. Like I only got one of those videos off. I hit the wall, and I'm imagining some of you guys commiserate as far as when you kind of hit an overload with something and you just can't do it anymore. You gotta take a break. It's wildly creative. I love making the videos. It's super fun, especially if you can find music that you really like and you're just vibing with all of the footage that you took. It can be so fun. And then at the same time, if you don't want to turn it into work. And these lives have been so great to be able to do kind of in lieu of hitting those videos on the regular. And so at the very least I can go live and we can hang out and not have to worry about a video every week. I couldn't keep up with that. And so Twister is saying that they wear cargo pants while rock hounding. Yeah, you need pockets, and there's a whole lot of sitting in the dirt, like you say, and that makes a whole bunch of sense. And Ryan, hey, uh, Ryan says we all know Kyle doesn't want his feet cold and wet. Yeah, in big bear slippers, especially. Yeah, hallelujah. I definitely I want to be on good terms with the snakes. I always like to let them know that I'm coming and that I don't mean them any harm. So we do see enough of them out here for sure. Have you got snakes out where you are? Uh, they're definitely something that I love them, but I just don't wanna, like, get bit by one in the middle of nowhere and not have a whole lot of recourse. We do have a bite kit with us all the time. There's that, but, we definitely venture into some wild, snaky country, and there are months that are really, really snaky, and so you just wanna avoid. There's a 6-foot python hanging around your place at the moment, Manny. Oh my gosh, the birds have been going crazy letting me know it's there. Wow. Do you know what kind? Is it a nice python like a carpet python or something innocuous, or is it going to be something that's I mean, most of the like a 6-foot python's really not gonna be able to wrestle you down. I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's like the big reticulated pythons and stuff like that that get a little dodgy, right? Um, clumsier with waders or boots on, says Ryan. Uh-huh. All right, so Alleluia says that they just don't venture out to places where they have to worry about them, but you got them. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of spots where there aren't. And Melissa says, "What about my birthday suit?" LOL. Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever, however you want to rock hunt, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. Yeah. Yeah. Rocky says they're nice enough to rattle at us so we don't step on them. Those are the kind. Yes, exactly. They had ones in. Arizona that had mutated away from having a rattle. These rattlesnakes without the rattles. And I was like, that's not okay. Because I used to love to trail run out there, and I have changed mid-stride, like levitated off of my, present course in the middle of running because you see like there's a rattler right in the middle of the trail because, trails. Arizona. Yeah. It's a rattlesnake haven and bites waiting to happen. But it's kind of like Oregon, if you were worried about getting wet, you'd never go out. And in Arizona, it's kind of like if you worried about snakes, you probably shouldn't go off like out of town. And they were in town all the time too. So yeah, whatever floats your goat, says Kyle. It's crazy. I'm seeing Kyle instead of World of Rockhounds, and it's tripping me out. It's nice to see your private page roaming about the YouTubes and the interwebs, like all willy nilly. Hey, Jackie Kaya is in the house and she is asking, did y'all hit that like? Thank you. I appreciate that. And Joseph is in the house and he says, me no likey snakes. You can't wheel fast enough, can you? Yeah, you'll be reversing the wheels so fast. I'm telling you. And Ryan, you called it, Ryan. That's hilarious. Melissa, a rock hounding nudist beach. I wasn't even out, like, for some reason I was thinking like out in Eastern Oregon where it's hot because it's almost never hot on my beach. And so that's not where it would be hazardous to find me in shorts or anything less than that. But out in the East, it can be like blazing hot. And yeah, it would be tempting. Like if you're river hunting or something like that, why not? So I wonder what Melissa has to say about that. Did I Oh, and Alleluia is cautioning that some places have laws about that. So maybe we need to be careful about that as well. And I mentioned something that Rufotris and fiance were talking about that. Huh, that's funny. I wonder what that was. The snakes? Probably not the what Melissa was talking about. Or were you? I don't know. Interesting. And the tension mounts. Like, what were they talking about? um, yeah, yeah. So Melissa's clarifying on those comments. Some backwheeling there perhaps as well. Uh, yeah, that is part of life out in the bush for sure, Afuraka. You just gotta check where you're putting your feet. Never put your hands any place where you can't see them. That was like a rule in Arizona too, because of the spiders. And I know that you guys have some wicked spiders out there as well. And so and scorpions and all the stuff that you gotta watch out for. I remember putting my one foot out of the car one time and remember hearing the rattle. And so it had like in the time that I had like rolled up and sat in the car for like trying to get my stuff together, or talking on the phone or something. I can't remember exactly what the scenario was, but yeah, like somebody had come underneath my car and I was like, okay, another good thing about rattlers. They do let you know that they're there. Yeah, Kyle in his natural habitat. Nice. Kyle is a show off. Nah. Oh yeah, see, he's the other channel as well. That's hilarious. He's double fisting the personas. Well, everybody, I didn't Steinkern everyone, so hopefully you have something nice in your moose too. I've got some dark booch this evening. Oh, look at how orange that is. That's neat. Oh, Allison needs a hover bucket. That would be awesome. Then you don't have to carry it. Or do you get in the hover bucket like if you're getting attacked by snakes? I mean, it seems like it would be a multi-use thing to have. Oh my gosh. Betting on fighter spites, spider fights. That's hilarious. Rocket Willers. I don't know. Every now and again, we'd have like, yeah, like a spider duel, or you'd get the praying mantis that would come over and offer some kind of a pushback on a spider. And this is my name, Melissa. It can be your new hit show on Discovery, right? That is like super reality show. Thank you. That's awesome. Uh, and Rocky says, "Sure, blame it on the bears." Yep, so many spiders, this Manny. Ken. Oh, kazow. That was fast. New Discovery show, naked and high grade. Buzzing. That's awesome. Ooh, somebody's having vanilla cream coffee. That sounds so good. Oh, that's what's in your mug. That's what's in your mousse. That sounds delicious. All right. And now Melissa's husband is teasing her. That's great. Victor Valdemar, test one. Oh my gosh, you are stacking the chat. Thanks, man. Like I've got like 100 people in the chat, and it's like just Kyle, Vladimir, and Voldemort, and Valdemar. If your comment is blocked, does it disappear on chat? Um, you know what's interesting is, like, I think that mods see all of it no matter what. I don't know what happens if there's a problem with a comment when I'm using a platform. I might not ever see it. If it's blocked by YouTube, it might not even make it to the StreamYard platform, which is interesting. That might be. I mean, I don't want everybody to like riff off in like a nasty way to see, but it would be interesting to know. um if yeah, you get offed um in one and not the other. And so somebody cover RT's speed while I tell about the time I came nose to nose with a rattler inside the house. Ooh, while hands were full gathering things to take to the clothesline. Oh my gosh, that's crazy, Spot. Yeah, that's scary. Like inside the house is not okay. I've had inside the garage is the closest, and that is also not okay. What did you do? Everybody wants to know. It's totally cool. Tonight is totally fine for tangents, like as though any other night isn't. But I'm not even feeling like I need to like, okay, on with the show and let's get to the slides and the microscope and all this. This is like totally sandbox time for everybody. So please tangent away all that you want to. I can turn my microphone back off if we wanted to. Um, let's see. Okay, so Rufo is saying that they have four too personas in which to trawl around. I just have one, but I know that Steve has two. It's kind of fun for him to trawl around and not be him. And Twister is saying, just wondering cause my squat on Rattler got no movement. LOL. Oh no. That's interesting. I don't know. You squatted on a rattler? And do you think that YouTube was like, "Yeah, we don't really like that. That sounds like it could be dodgy what she's saying." So I had to over on Kyle's, I let one of Manny's comments go by. It was about the rock porn. And I wonder how many bots I just set off just saying that out loud actually. But yeah, I guess there's certain things that, the AI and the bots are like, "Oh, That's scary. What is she talking about? So if something gets tagged, mods can approve, right? Right, Lisa. I don't think I can see that on my side, which, when I'm running it on YouTube or when I'm modding somebody else's page, I see that stuff and I don't see anything like that here. So I don't know. I don't know. You guys are at the helm. Lisa's driving the ship. Valdemar the Rock Lord. As Kyle would say in his movie voice, I think. And Rockin' Wheelers is like randomly saying that he has eaten 10 plus through 30K or 30,000 chicken dinners. Okay, I love it. Yeah, random chatting, like random answers only. Let's see. This is my name. I'm here twice, but I'm not chatting as two people. I can barely chat as one. I hear that. I don't know. I would have a hard time. I guess I do have two personas. Sometimes I'm the Rockhound podcast, but like I can barely remember the passwords for them. So, when I sign out of one, I'm like, "Oh, can I get back into it?" And so I'm super paranoid about ever like signing out of anything. Um, and Ellison is saying, I had Karen on both the TV and my other phone the other day. My significant other came in and sarcastically suggested I put her on the bedroom TV. Also, good idea. LOL. I totally do that though, Allison. That's hilarious. I thought I was the only one. Like, I have you guys on down here in my studio, but if like I have to go up and get tea or I'm doing something like I'm preparing the dog's meal or something like that, I'll like take my phone with me and like take whatever's going on up there with me, or like outside if I have to take the dogs outside. I'm so heartened that others do that. I'm not the only one. Awesome. We can all make each other feel better about this ridiculous stuff that we do. Okay. So Twister is saying, I squatted to pee myself 3 feet from a rattler in New Mexico. Didn't take long to put pants up. Oh, yeah. You actually gave me like the physical reaction of like that was up my spine. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is a fright. No, and move slowly away. I always, that is actually so funny. I really worry about that. That happened to you. I've always worried about that I was gonna like, you know, need to do that and then get caught, or like that would be the one time, especially at night. I'm always like with the flashlight, when we're camping, I'm like checking everywhere while having to go if it's like a squat situation. And I just always figure that's when like the cougar's gonna like walk up on me, or that big bear or something like that. So, oh my gosh, you have realized one of my worst fears. That is crazy. I guess you'd have to be very thorough about checking the area before you go. Note taken. Rocky's other personalities lost internet privileges. That's great. Yeah. Oops, don't say it, says Rufo. Yeah, that's nice, baby. Ken. I'm not gonna say it again though. I don't need to get those bots like all in an uproar over what I'm saying. Yeah, Ellison, totally hilarious chat. Yeah, I probably don't need to show any rocks. Just let's all just hang out, right? As though like all day at Kyle's, wasn't enough. And this is my name is saying, you may not have squatted to pee yourself, but I'm assuming you did when you saw that. Yeah, good one for sure. Rattler was on a shelf next to clothespins, truly nose to nose. Woo. Oh, goodness. After freezing so fast, time stood still while I deftly slid foot around to slam closet door in face. Oh, and then how do you extract said snake from closet, knowing that he's in there? Like, okay, now what? Set fire to the closet, like, okay, that's it. You're gone. Oh my gosh, that is so scary. Um, and Alleluia is saying, I got y'all playing in my living room while I try to reorganize my business. Yeah. That is like the best though. When I have to clean, I mean, I'm always having to clean. Everybody who has like a jewelry bench and a shop or a studio knows like it's a perpetual cleaning situation. Like if not for all of the clutter of projects coming in and out, but for the grime that you kick up, oh my gosh. So yeah, thank you for letting us all feel better about everybody's environments there. um, Twister says, "Good move, Spot. I did big reverse steps last year. Nearly stepped on one in my garage. Yeah, ugh. Yeah. That's the garage ones really get me. That's not cool. When you like you move something, you move a tote or the shovel or the wheelbarrow or something like that, and there he is." That and the black widows, like, I could never get used to. Yeah, yeah, makes my skin crawl for sure. Um, Twister has even banged the trees and stopped loudly, thinking I was safe. Yeah, he never woke up. Yeah, that's something that I do not like in camping situations. Like if there's other people around, obviously you're not gonna uh you know bang cans together and stuff like that. But when we're in the very remote, I definitely make my noises so that I'm sure to scare anything away that wants to sneak up on me. Those big cats you guys have over there are dang. Yeah, off Uraka. We were driving from Fossil, Oregon to a spot where we were camping on the Malheur River. And this cougar walked across the highway like it ain't no thing, like a lion in the savannah of Africa. And it was like darn near as big as a female lion. It was crazy. Big, huge tail and the biceps and everything. And what was really crazy, we were in a three rock hound caravan. Because who doesn't? So we were three vehicles deep. We were in the front. And so we pull over really quick because I mean, how many opportunities do you get to see a cougar? Not very many because they really try to stay out of your way unless they're on you. And like so they're ghosts. And so we pull over and the others get out of their vehicles and we're like, yeah, yeah, that was a cougar. And no sooner had it touched the edge of the brush, and it wasn't very, it was kind of like scrub juniper, like old juniper forest and low scrub, like, tumbleweed and sage. It was gone. It was gone the second it got in there, and I was like, "No, no, no, we'll be able to spot it." No, we could not find it. It was gone, and so, I mean, it was probably sitting there watching us the whole time. We were, like, "Okay, so which one of these humans looks like the easiest to take down?" While we're like, "Oh, where is it?" So, crazy. But yeah, they're a thing for sure. And this is my name is Jackie. She reveals herself. Sneaky, sneaky. Oh my gosh, Twister was scared to get in their truck for a week. Yeah, heard that. And, wow, Bob's Rocks, was taking care of his rabbits, and a rattler fell out of the rafters where the doves were nesting. Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair having them come from above. That is not okay. I think it's in King Rat or some book where like the jungle snakes fall out of the trees. That's not okay. Terrible. But wait, there's more, says Kyle. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. You guys are great. I'm glad that everybody's having a good time. You know what's cool about this is that Kyle gets to play in the chat, you know? Like he kind of misses the chat because he's working the whole time when he's doing his live streams. And so I'm glad that you guys you're getting a chance to play. Um and Spot was saying that was while I lived in Oklahoma. Sorry, RT, but I called in the Aggie class from the nearby college, and those boys had a mini roundup. Oh, followed by a barbecue. Nice. That works. And Ken says, "It's scary how big they are. I came about face to face with one in Boulder one night cutting through an alley." Yeah, yeah. And yeah, that's kind of how it happens. I mean, they don't mean to necessarily overlap with us unless, you're being stalked or whatever. And so they're like I said, they're ghosts. And so when you see one, you probably it's an accident. Unless it's not. But there's that. And Rocky almost stepped on a tarantula without any shoes on, had to do a flying leap down the garage steps. Yeah. Then I had to get back inside with it between you and the door. Yeah. And they're fast. Has anybody seen a tarantula run? They are crazy fast. Not to incite any additional fear in you, but I like yeah, living in the desert. I've seen tarantulas run, and that is like a thing to behold. They are amazing sprinters. And Allison's like, yeah, I might burn the house down in that case. Nope, bear, she says. Um, and Rocky says, we had a cougar sunbathing on my neighbor's back deck. Oof. Had to call him and tell him not to go outside. Yeah, yeah, that like they can get kind of ballsy in uh some suburban areas, which is definitely not okay. There was one that was hanging out in Los Altos Hills uh way back in the day and just doing the same, just hanging out in people's backyards and on people's decks and stuff like that. And that is not good when they get that comfortable, for sure. Things need to be done for intervention. And Twister says, living in Venezuela, I ran a snake over that was so large it felt like a speed bump. Gave up hiking while there. Yeah. Ugh, yeah, that's gnarly. And Melissa's wondering if Kyle is talking to himself. That's interesting. Ode to Archie, right? Aw. Rip. Rest in peace, Archie. May you be jumping from cloud to cloud in the spider heavens. Just don't drop down on us. Um, and Allison's like, no, Karen, that doesn't make me more scared at all. um, and Alleluia is saying, we got recluses up here when I was 20. One challenged me to a Mortal Kombat. Yee! Thankfully, I had a sword on the wall. I didn't know I would have want that. I didn't know I would want, I'm sorry, have want that conversation otherwise. Yeah. And their partner was not amused. Sorry, I stumbled over that. Sometimes reading. It was reclusive for me as well, the reading part. But yeah, recluses are definitely scary business. We've got those and the hobos. We don't have any black widows on this side of the Coast Range, but we so had them. I had a house that was like literally infested with them in Arizona, and it still makes my skin crawl. We don't have a good we don't have a good relationship. Breaking the rules of coexistence. Exactly, Manny. Ode to ambiance. Now, is ode to ambiance new, or is this somebody who is also doppelganging as somebody else? Interesting. Cheers. Cheers to you. Welcome into the chat. Uh, and let's see. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. Thank you for saying hi as well. Hobo spiders. Ken versus Hobo Spider involved it dodging a swinging broom and then me deploying a can of oven cleaner. Good to know. Didn't sit in that chair for a week. Yeah, because they're aggressive. Yeah, they're not being dominant. They're being aggressive, and so they'll like just like come for you, and that's not pleasant at all. And that will break you of the habit of being, in that area, or like, God forbid you saw it, like, say, near your bed or something. La. Okay. So, no, it's totally me, says Ode to Ambiance. This was a side project channel of nature ambiance videos. Very cool. Okay. Because we've got some people that are using all their different IDs in the chat. And I was like, okay, we have somebody new. Did somebody just make one? So good to see you. We are looking at some beach finds that we discovered during our video that premiered this evening as well. And we'll suffer your phone with you, Lisa. Hang in there. And yes, black widows in Portland, black widows in Corvallis, ugh, like at my dad's house. Okay, so we were going to do the coprolite that we found at the very beginning of the beach errand, and then you guys got to see me plunge it in the vinegar that will no longer be used for salad. And then we're going to go ahead and check out what you guys saw in the video as far as the top side. You can weigh in if you see anything recognizable. And then also we have the backside, which has the Foraminifera, which blew my mind. And I actually have I had mentioned that I have a paper that I got from the library that is the forums from New Zealand. And it's got some pictures. And so I just thought if you guys needed if you guys needed a little extra information as far as those guys go, like what am I looking at, that can be kind of helpful. And so let's get this bad boy up here. And there is our blurry poo. Hi. And that is, we're out, like, there it is on the stage in its blurriness because we want to be closer anyway. So we're going to get to at least there. And so what I was clarifying before is that these pieces that are being revealed more so than the last time we looked at this piece of poo. So, it could or could not look recognizable to you, but these are mostly fish bone, or they could be the bits that belong to a crab or a shrimp, or some of the sort of shelled crustacean. That would be what would be left over, that in our fossil record has the tendency to be dark like this, the little fish bones and stuff like that. But some of these, like, they really have the shapes more so of what looked to me like what would be on a crayfish or a shrimp or a crab. And so I'm thinking that might be more what we're looking at, which is kind of fun because that does sidle us in a little closer to knowing maybe whose poop this was. Now, I left my exposure box up because not only does it help um, the camera deal with the lighting as we change around as we go. What I have in the middle there, and we're going to go ahead and dive in closer, is what I think might be actually the top side of a vert, like a teeny weeny fish vert. You guys have seen the Kemmerer fossils and how small those little vertebrae are, like for the Nidias. And I think that that's what this little guy is. I'm going to try to get him right in the center because we can get closer. I think we can. And John is back. Hey, John, welcome back, buddy. Good to see you. And Anonymous Frog. Man, this Kyle guy, is he crazy? Is that also how many does he have? See, this is why I was suspicious. So there we're a little bit closer and there's some material right next door to it that's kind of square in shape that also kind of looks interestingly porous like bone. And Melissa is actually Kyle and gave the Fordham to him herself. Nice. Okay. And I think we can get even closer. That's it. That's it right there. And so am I being crazy? Does that look like a vert to you guys? Because that that would hone some stuff in that like this could be eating both fish and shrimp and that it could be like think of all the different things that an ancient pelican would eat, like all the above. So that pretty much works. And John is not Kyle. Okay, all right. And Rocky's singing. And Rufo is Kyle, and we are all Sparta. Yes. Okay, which one of you pooped on Karen's beach? Yeah, and left such like the nicely fossilized. I mean, you might want to hydrate. Um far too many. Too many things. Yes, Lisa. Oh, and John is asking, don't know. Don't know what my little circle is that I'm high centered on right now. But can you remind me of the brand of my microscope? And I can. It's an Amscope, and I do not have any affiliation with Amscope, which I wish I did somehow, but like don't. They basically have the the best gear, good prices, and impeccable backup service for you if something goes wrong. And I think that that's like probably the biggest deal is if you have like some kind of a malfunction or something like that, it's really nice to maybe have been, gotten it straight from the source instead of someplace else because then, they offer service and support for you. So hopefully that helps. Amscope, they're wonderful. They have had quite a bit of business from my dad and I. We love our microscopes. So tiny of a bone. And then right next door to it, right there, we see some linear bit right there that's alongside another linear bit. When we see stuff like that, and you guys, I mean, you guys watch Mam Lambo too. There's some things that look a lot like they could be legs, and some things that other things eat have lots of legs. So, here's a big round bit of a body of something, and these are the hard bits that didn't get chewed or survived all the way through, basically. Got to the edge there and So, and also like whenever I pass little things like that, I check it out. There's what looks like maybe another bird actually. Um that I'm always intrigued because just like Ken had some nice teeth and scales and things, just like the anomalies that we look for when we're rock hounding, we're basically just doing warm rock hounding in the house, going through the fossil record of, say, poop or something. I mean, this is the same as rock hunting, but we're hunting for whatever whatever this thing ate. That's an interesting shape there that I had passed over right at the beginning. And a lot of this stuff, I've seen at Ken's house, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is a crab right here," and it doesn't look like a crab, but it's the cartoon outline because we're looking at like a cross section of it, and so that one's an interesting one there too. Um, like just an interesting line of what are you? Speak to me. Um, so it's it's always intriguing to cruise around because you're looking for recognizable things, and then this is a lot of maceration of something, so that's a whole line of something right there. How cool. And I would say, we're in at 40x, and so the length of that thing in real life is probably um I don't know, like maybe 3 millimeters, maybe two. And so that might give you a size reference, but it seems pretty ginormous under these conditions. And couldn't we just poop gaze all day, you guys? I mean, I won't make you, but I think it's pretty interesting to see something big was right there and came loose because that's actually an impression. I know with the lighting, it's hard to tell, but we're kind of getting into the edge there. But it would be really cool to like, and this is symmetrical, so you have to wonder what that is. Like, it's just barely poking up. Um, and so without further ado, I'm gonna pop this guy on the other side. And this is the forum side. And so this is like a big mass die off of a bunch of forums. Let me get that a little bit flatter, which I haven't seen quite like this before. So these guys, it's interesting. I had it wet when I was doing the video, and that actually it might like that better. Also, let me see if I can improve on the light. Nope. Let's do this. Nope, that's gonna, there we go. So you can see what is shiny is actually the either the impression like a trace fossil or the actual body of these circular forams or foraminifera that all like were so saturated in this area. You can just see all these circles and all these circles and all these circles. And I think actually when I was taking the video before, like I said, it was wet. I think they were maybe even easier to see, but you can see all the circle impressions, and then some of them, look like there's like a body still there. And so, I mean, it kind of looks like that material that like on a ping pong paddle or whatever is just perforated over and over and over again with these circles. And so, like I said in the video, I was kind of wondering like, did all of these forums die in whatever event made the perfect situation for that coprolite to fossilize, because that was like, in stasis basically. And were they, had they gotten together so that they could feed on this, and then, like the ash event happened, or the compacting of the silt, or whatever event made the perfect environment to make the fossil, both encapsulated the coprolite, but also this mat of forums that all died in a tiny little death plate. These guys are all like under a millimeters. Yeah, like they're all teeny weeny. And so I think that's pretty interesting. And Vicky's in the house, and Jeff is in the house, and thank you for coming. And let's see. Everybody's saying hi. Awesome. All right. And so uh that is our coprolite from the show, and you guys got to see it go in the vinegar, and I'm actually tempted to plunk it back down in and let it go for a little bit longer and see how much more is revealed. With a larger format guy, which I'm going to go into in a second, you definitely want to prepare the fossil with the paraloid to make sure that it doesn't get eaten also. But these bits are so small that I'm just hoping that uh, the coprolite from around it, and some of the sediment from the other side from around these foramens, just like kind of just gets eaten away and leaves us a little bit more information, because I don't want to try to prep around like these teeny weeny things. That's not going to happen, but there's enough sticking out that maybe we get something a little bit more recognizable if it eats just a little bit more. So I'm going to plop them back in. And Vicky says that they went rock hounding today, couldn't really tell what they found because of the clay. Oh, that can be so hard. And that is a bummer about like winter and spring rock hounding, not being able to see. Uh, Maury Mountain, I love going to Maury Mountain. There's moss agate from there. And I love going in the spring, but if you don't time it just right, you either have like, you can't tell what the material is doing at all because it's all just covered with mud, which is like your clay situation. Or you hit it, in the spring where everything's been washed out and washed off, and things have been, eroded out of the ground, and the surface picking is amazing. Like, you don't have to do much digging, which is so awesome. So I hope that you guys found some cool stuff anyway. Like, it'll be a surprise. Hopefully you didn't throw away the good ones and take the leverites. And so can we get Doc to thin slice for the win? As far as Spot, are you talking about doing a thin slice on the coprolite? Like, let me know what you're thinking there, because I could probably do it too. So uh don't want to bother the doc too much. um so we picked up this guy, and you can see that there's an interesting kind of death layer going on as far as this guy goes too. And there's our bone. We picked that up off of the beach. I was wondering if I should take it, because the rocks definitely add up in weight. Like, we need the hover bucket for that. And there's another nubbin. And so are we looking at something that's going through and through? There's the one side and there's the other side. And so we've got, I'm not going to prep the paraloid tonight, but this is the paraloid, and you dissolve it in acetone. So you make a paraloid paint out of it. And what we're going to do, and I'll do a video, so we're going to paint that, and we're going to paint that, And then we're going to plonk this whole bad boy into the vinegar, and we're going to let the vinegar start working, because we could go straight at it with an air scribe, which I still need to purchase. So we can get a head start on all of our bony concretions like that one by prepping the outside part of the bone that's showing so it doesn't get eaten by the acid, putting it in an acid bath, and like like every couple days you go in and you scrub it, and what is coming off sloughs off, and you wash it, you reparoid, repaint the parts that are starting to emerge, and repeat. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And there's plenty of time before the summer for some of these rocks to lose a lot of weight. And so we've got some really, really interesting ones that we can do this on, that'll get us ready for the prepping, and also we get like a little, like, not quite instant gratification, but we get to see, oh, what's being revealed as we get closer and closer to the actual prep with the hammer, which will be very, very cool. And Jeff is saying, been working on 2 videos, one from last week and today's hunt also. So really looking forward to those, Jeff. Can't wait to see that. That'll be great. And let's see. This guy is, it might just be a vert with like a really long, like this would be the process off of the vert, and the big meaty part right there in the middle might be the vert itself. You can kind of see like the processes coming off, if that's what it is. And kind of rolls around that way. It's kind of hard, as you guys, if you saw Mam Lambo's video where he gets to use the CAT scan, so interesting to see inside, because sometimes, because of the way that they have broken and stuff like that, stuff is deformed enough, it's not readily identifiable. But there's like these trace bits, and then over by my fingers there's stuff that kind of wraps around like on this side. And so I think that this one's really going to be an interesting one also to do an acid bath with, because with a guy like this, we could free it completely from the matrix if the matrix itself isn't holding the little bits together. And if the matrix is holding little bits together, we have something that isn't probably a vert. And so either way, we get to have some fun and find out like, oh, that's not what we expected it to be. And so let's see. So Spot said, yes. So yeah, okay. The we can play with maybe trying to get like a thin slice out of that poop. I'm not like feeling like it's terribly precious. So we could slice it thin and see what's in the contents. That's sounds like an interesting idea. Why not? I like it. Um, and Jess says that they brought home well over 100 pounds worth of material, left a big one that was probably 70 pounds alone, broke it up with a sledge, and it was just solid. Wow. So what was it? Oh, and Melissa, same question. Solid agate? And Spot saying, I was just remembering that from one of his videos. Yeah, sometimes more videos than memory available. I totally hear you. So Spot, I think he was making thin slices for wood. And one of the cool things about petrified wood is that when you get it thin like that, that's one of the ways that you can ID what the wood is from the cellular structure of the wood. And that's something that I'm trying to get set up to do. And that's why I was like, it's not like I'm trying to steal any thunder from the doc, because he the man. But I am trying to, like, with a whole wood project, do the thin sections, and doing a poop section is a great idea. I love the idea. And so maybe I'll play with the poo well, I'm starting some slides for some wood thin sections, and we'll see what I can get rolling as far as that goes. I mean, just cause it seems like such a cool idea. I like it. Remember to check out that big agate tube with the UV light is what's going to happen right now. Thank you for reminding me. So this guy was one of those that you find on the beach and you just have to kind of squeal. I sat down, you probably saw. So this has like this awesome little uh crystal in the cavity. And so first, let me go ahead and mount this up for the microscope. We'll see if we can get down the cavity and into the crystal. And while I'm doing that, I would love to crowdsource some knowledge. You guys, what are the bones that have the big holes in them for delivery system? From the blood and that sort of thing. I mean, I know that spinal has some, but I think that there are other bones that have like big delivery system uh holes through them, right? Does anybody know offhand what this might be? I think that this is so cool. And that what's neat about the permineralization of our fossil record here on the coast is that a lot of it ends up getting agatized, and that's a treat. So, agate and uh, quartz druzy, like it's pretty fancy. And so I'm just gonna get this bad boy loaded so that we can check it out in the microscope, get down in there. It seemed like it's got like the side that is plugged on the other side is very bot-y. And so it's really fancy in there. And Dan Dickinson is in the house, and Val Summers is in the femurs. Okay, thank you, Val. Excellent. And Ken says femurs on humans do. Leg bone says Twister. Femur says Lisa. Leg bone says Rufo. Yay, thank you guys. Oh, and Mr. Turtle Montana is in here, and 30 people are watching, but only 24 likes. Yay! Yeah, hit those likes if you can, guys. It really does help. And yeah, so I'm thinking leg. This sounds really good. Created rocks here. All right, Dan. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you. And it's where the blood cells are made in the marrow. Okay, very, very cool. And it's oh so sexy. Right? Such a fancy, sexy one. Um, all right. And I missed something somewhere. Oh, hi. New Kyle in disguise, aka Dan. Is that the deal? Is that the deal? Oh, just keep them coming. That's fine. It never gets old. Oh my gosh, I turned red, and then at the same time, there's a $20 super. Thank you so much, Joseph. That was weird. Like, what strange timing. Like, everything kind of turned red. Like, oh, thank you for your generosity. Very, very much. Yeah, you guys are quickly getting me to that air scribe, actually. Like, now I'm gonna have to like, okay, do I want to get the mid-range, or rather the short range light for everybody, or do we get that air scribe? I think that air scribe needs to be gotten. So thank you so much, Joseph. You're a rock star for helping out the channel, getting helping us get more tools so that we can do more crazy things on lives and stuff like that. And so let me just get that up there. There we go. All right. And so we are going to also do that. And let's get us in. So, wow, look at that. Are you guys seeing the crystal structure? That looks zeolitic. Big time. Looks like we have some zeolite replacement in. I think that we like I just randomly, zoomed in on a portion of the bone. So uh yeah, that Rosie says we're learning. Well, thank you. Cheers and Steinkern. Steinkern U. I like university, right? Steinkern University. Twister says scribe. Yeah. And Canadian Gemstones, welcome to the house. Okay, so who are you? Now it's like somebody's gonna innocently walk in here and I'm gonna think it's an alias for somebody else. And thank you, Joseph. She likes you. That's so sweet. We love you, Rosie. So, welcome in Canadian Gemstones. Whoever you are, we are looking at bones. And right now we're seeing that puzzle piece thing that I was talking about before. We're pretty close, and so let's pan out. But I thought that was a really nice little zoom to see some what's probably zeolite sitting there. Okay, it's up high, so we can't go out too far. It's going to befuddle the microscope. In fact, shoot. We're gonna have to get close again. That's interesting. I'd have to fiddle faddle with the camera. We don't want to do that. So anyways, that's how that looks in there. That could go lower. That's probably whoa. So I knew we were close. Hello. Hello, all you beautiful crystals. And we're looking into the mouth of the beast right now. Move her over a little bit. Oh, that's such the pattern of bone is so pretty. Raise your hand if you think so. Okay, so because it's bent over, we're not going to see the crystal, so I'm going to have to realign things. Meanwhile, can we get out far enough to see? Oh, hello. Like there's all that druzy in there. Very pretty. Maybe I do want to mess with this. Let's go as far out as we can. And then as far out as we can. And then, sorry guys, if we want to do the black light, I should probably do this now. There we go. Messed with the camera so that we've got a better situation. Okay. If we had a scribe covered in leather, it would be a subscribe. Kyle, like whirling out the dad jokes like ninja stars. Oh, Mr. Turtle Montana stepping up to the plate with the dad jokes. Did someone say Saturday night femur? If only it was not Sunday. And scribe, write that down. Oh my gosh, you guys are on a jag. Oh, this is great. That was very good. Hi, I'm getting verklempt. And Spot says, "Who are you?" Makes me think of Theo. Wouldn't put it past him. Yeah. All right. Of course, I read it. And yeah, Ken said that you saw some forts. Those forts were cool, and definitely the boy those little radiating zeolites are always so cool to see. And Kyle says, I was hoping to go to the beach soon, but it sounds like the pass is slick. Yes, it's ugly and full of accidents. And so it was very chilly on the beach. I'd watch for are we I have to look at the tide charts. I've lost track. I have no desire to go outside in the cold out there. It was so cold. Like, just letting my duck out, I was like, "Okay, I really love you because I don't wanna go outside at all." And, and so going down to the beach, it's bitter because there's wind and stuff. Like, it always feels so much colder on the beach than, just like a dry cold, you know? A wet cold is bad. It's bad. Okay, so let's go look at that crystal really quick, and then we'll look at the see if we can see some forts and stuff in the actual cellular structure. So we're traveling down what was making marrow in a large uh marine mammal, excuse me. And it it just so happened there are bots inside that. Isn't that cool? And the fortification lines around the tunnel in this bit of a femur, probably, right? And then we have just this spire of a crystal structure. Let me see if I can move it over. Oh yeah, and then we're gonna do the UV too. I'm not forgetting. I'm serious. I can spend hours at this and I forget what I was doing. Like, I was supposed to be finishing the video for tonight. And I was playing under the microscope with the poo. And I forgot to take the footage, like the first entire session that I did, and I put it away and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't video any of what I just did so that I could put it in the video." That was just ridiculous. So as okay, Val says, as a keeper of osteoporosis, I think fossil bones are way cool. Yeah, definitely. Um, and let's see, Alleluia. Hey, buddy. Hope you had an amazing night so far. That's awesome. Mr. Turtle Montana says it's always Saturday in my head. Yeah, right. Let me get rid of that exposure thing. So if you guys want to just gaze upon the beauty of that, then that's not going to be in your way. Because I don't think we have to worry about that's so cool. It's just like a little castle in the bone. I love it. Um, Shrink me down and let me in. Exactly, right, Allison? I wanna go in there. I wouldn't mind living in there. I'm good, Dan, thank you. And, I hope you are good as well. Um, oh, asking about Lisa. Um, did you say letting my duck out? Yes, Melissa, I did, and that wasn't like an innuendo of any kind. I actually do have an Ancona duck. I used to have a whole flock. We have a problem with predation around here, though. And so I gave some of them away, and I had some hens, and sadly, a few of them got nabbed by a very sneaky red-tailed hawk. Yeah. Um, which is crazy because we have osprey, we have falcons, we have short-tailed hawks, and we have, of course, the bald eagles, all of them living right here. There's plenty to eat, and this red tail, whom I don't even think is a resident, uh, figured out where my ducks were, and they're big. They're big ducks, and uh, I know for sure got one of them. So yeah, it's the circle of life, but it's not cool. Like, I had hand raised that one since it was a chick. But yeah. So anyways, I digress. Going back into the crystal cave, which is so very, very beautiful. And Rockin' Willer says, Alleluia, hey, young master bad mamma jamma jewelry maker. And he says you should see Ozone's work. And you know what? Thank you, Joseph. Like, Alleluia is definitely legit, does some incredibly nice work. And so I tip my hat to you and salute your beautiful artistry and craftings. Um, and it's just super fun to have a what a neat community of talent where people like wrap. I don't wrap, like really good wrappers, really good silversmiths, really good facetors, really good lapidaries, you know, the Shine Master Flash, Kyle himself, the Wizard of Ob, these people that you know, lend their expertise and answer questions and help out. It's just super cool. I love this community for how much talent everybody has to share. I really appreciate it. Um, Karen, kind of reminds me of that big bone I sent you pictures of. Yeah, yeah, it could be some of the same as that uvula. Rocky. It's getting late enough to talk about uvulas. Yes. Oh, look, the doc is in the house. Karen, does your microscope have a nickname, or is it also MicrOzone now? No, I don't actually have a nickname for the new microscope. And y'all, I'm open to suggestions. And Canadian Gemstone says, careful, you might turn into a micro mounter. Yeah, for sure. This wouldn't be Ontario Rockhound, is it possible? Um, yeah, like those such as Jared have definitely gotten to my head for sure. And oh, Ken did answer that question too. She did, Melissa. There used to be two ducks, but there was an incident with a hawk a couple of months ago. Yeah. And yeah, I used to have a whole herd of them. If you go back to my video about the Pennsylvania fossils that I got quite some time ago, I mean, that might have been 2.5, 3 years ago. I like I took some video out there because I thought I might have found a feather. So I thought, "Oh, I'll go out with the ducks, you know, these little dinosaurs that I have out there." And yeah, there's so many ducks out there. It makes me sad. But some of those I actually did give away to a breeder that is here that does ancanas. And so they alas they were saved, which is very, very cool. Is it really amethyst, or is that just the lighting? I don't think it's an amethyst. um and Allison sees the uvula too. Forces a suggestion here. um Oh, that's very nice, Alleluia. Thank you so much about that. Yeah, I said, I tip my hat to you as well. All the things that I've seen that you've done, you're high in your craft. You do lovely work. And I think that it's just the coloring of the lighting in the microscope. I don't think that that's an amethyst, but I will double, triple, quadruple check on that. You know, it may take some changing of light. And you know, now that we have the throat open and everything, let's shine the UV on it just for giggles and stuff. And then we'll pan out and we'll get like the sexy show that way too. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the lights down, y'all. We're bringing it down, and we'll stick that on. Okay, so that's on, and then like I just don't want to discombobulate the camera's brain, so I'm gonna try to. There we go, and then we'll do that. Yeah. Okay. So, whoa. Now it's really an amethyst. There's some interesting stuff down in there that I think is trying to do a thing. Whoa. It seems like it's mostly um can talk. Actually, I'm kind of speechless at the moment. If it like I'll get rid of the exposure thing if people want screenshots. that's that's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna work on that again. I'm taking a shot for sure. It's befuddled its pixels. You can see some kind of pixelant there, which is kind of a bummer. There, I snapped a shot. And now it's upset. Let's do that again. So yeah, agate. Seems like it's mostly agate. And yeah, this is when I need some ambient music right here. Um, Definitely a crystal dangler, says Rocky. Hallelujah, you should share your idea of like a JTV. And Ken thought rap as in rap like music. Yeah, I keep on waiting for Kyle to sprack out some raps. You know he can. I can feel it. Oh no, that is terrible, Karen. All right, Rufo's out. Cheers. Glad that you are having a delicious dinner. And Alleluia, thank you. He says, of course, put a lot of time in the last 3 years to learn everything I can about jewelry out of my bead room. LOL. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's so cool that you can do that. I mean, honestly, to be able to devote the time, like, absorb all that you can and do all that you can if you've got a window of opportunity, where you can. That's a wonderful thing to be able to stew in the dew. Be doing, instead of having to, juggle a bunch of stuff. Uh, it's difficult when you have to put your stuff on the shelf. I hear a lot from people who, they always have to put their studio away. I know that Rufo feels that way, like, having to put everything away in between projects and stuff like that. Like, if you can just stew and do and just like be in that soup of creativity for any period of time, um, you know, it can be pretty amazing. Okay. So say ah, uh-huh. Oh, great. And Chris just subbed. Fantastic. All right, Dan, thank you for coming by. And I'm gonna zoom. I didn't know we could go closer. Oh, we can go much closer. Wow. Huh. Hi. How much closer can we go? For some reason, I thought we were all the way in. Wow, that is right up on that. That's pretty cool. Trying to hold the lighting still so that you guys can all see that. Can we go closer? Yes. Wow. Oh, it's because I adjusted the camera. That's pretty darn great. Right down the throat of that marrow maker. That's pretty cool. Let's get that light in there better. That doesn't do that. That's not helping, Karen. She says, like, let's get the light in better, and like completely ruins it. Hold on. Let's bring some exposure back. Oh, it's exposured out. Interesting. Maybe that's the best it can do. It's dark. Pretty neat. Oh, Ken's out too. All right. I'm going to snap a shot of that because that's pretty darn cool. Hey, Papa. Nice to have you in the house. Welcome. We're looking deep into the cavity of a fossil bone where it's got some druzy and some pretty neat crystal growth, like just right in the middle of like a vein hole or a artery hole or whatever delivery system, whichever way that one goes. And and so I guess at this point, Ken wanted to see this under the UV. He was the one that recommended it, and he doesn't get to see the whole thing. So let's pan way out. If he's still here, let's have a look at this. It's burning. So I can definitely share with you that the light here, I made it overexposed. So see if we can't bring that down a little bit. Wow, that's really, really, really lit up. Um, it is orange on the outside, so there's definitely calcite going on the outside, and then we've got some cooler colors on the inside, leading me to believe that it would be agate. Let's go out some more. There, getting an idea. Get some focus going on here. Sorry, guys. There. Wild. That's pretty cool. You get rid of the exposure. There we go. Cellular structure really lighting up with what is permineralizing it, especially this stuff on the left side is has a lot of calcite in it. Pretty. Just gonna roam around just a little bit. I think not so much over here. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, then there goes the calcite again down there. Wild. A little bit more definition. Let's bring that up here and get closer. This is when the ambient music would be nice. That's pretty. Oh, hold the light right, Karen. That's really cool. So you can see that, the way that the cells permineralize, they have a lot of different parts to them. They didn't, it's not uniform at all. Like different cells filled in maybe at different times, or at the very least were flushed through with different minerals. That's pretty neat. And let's see. It's a heart guarding the tunnel of love. Very cool. Mr. Turtle Montana, wonderful. We miss it. Missed that one. The world is filled with beautiful creations, especially humans. Yes, for sure. Definitely, Joseph, and you among them. Beautiful, beautiful. And John is asking, sort of off topic, but still on IDs, what would be your go-to device if you didn't own a microscope for rock gem identification? Refractometer, polariscope, dichroscope, blah, 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 spectroscope. You know, I I really like refractometers because they're useful for the stuff that I do. Oh, really quick, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But oops, I'm gonna lose it. This is where that let's get close to, you can see the spray, the outward from the center spray on those guys up to the left a little bit. Kind of looks like a tie-dye shirt or whatever. Um, that would be the zeolite doing that. That kind of pink center with the like spray going out from it. That's cool to see that structure. Um, but yeah, as far as the different, I guess it depends on what you want it to work with. As far as for me, uh, the refractometer would make sense because you can test gemstones with that, and that would be super good for me to be like, okay, this is synthetic, this is real, this has this, and yet it wouldn't be as handy if you were trying to maybe ID some other things, say out in the field. A Geiger counter is a neat thing, like if it's a hot rock or yeah, I would ask Patrick. That's a good question for Patrick. What would be the best tool, and yeah, like kind of knowing what you want to find with it also would be a good thing. Um let's see. I might have seen this in a Scott Carpenter movie. Yeah, right. And so I'm going to turn her up. Whoa, way too up. So that's what you were just looking at under the ultraviolet light. It was much prettier that way. But that's giving you a chance to see, the before and the after exactly. Which I'm gonna snap a picture of that. Because I think that that's really interesting too. It's uh it's so cool to see what patterns those different minerals that have gone inside the cells make. And then if there's somebody in the chat that has a suggestion that wants to weigh in on John's question, feel free to do that. And Val Summers is wowed. Yay, Val. I'm so glad. And that is a trip, right, Allison? Yes, John Carpenter, that up guy. Okay, now I understand. Like Scott Carpenter. But yeah. Starring Kurt Russell. Yeah. Um, think of all the stuff that blood carries, so no wonder it's a mad mixture. Yeah, it would be very, very cool, and definitely uh, an a niche thing to be able to study, like how permineralization happens, and you know the the predisposition of what is attracted, and where certain minerals, like say, grow first and choose to grow in the environment of quickly. Okay, and John says, "Thank you, Karen. I was hoping you would say that." Well, I'm glad that I got that question right without knowing it. Awesome. And so, John, those are all for gem ID and not rock ID. Yeah, I would say in most regards, like the application would be like kind of more small format. I love that piece too, Allison. It's just I was so shocked and amazed to pick that up, and then it had that huge gemmy cavern in it that was just unexpected. That it really kind of knocked my socks off. Sorry, Alleluia is so in and out, working on organizing, and your Alexandrite video. Looking forward to that. Alexandrite is so yummy, and um yeah, and then yeah, talking about the expensive of those tools, sometimes prohibitive, but can be worth it. Whoa. Yeah, yeah, can't afford, and that's interesting, John. Yeah, there's, like, lots of K's involved with that. The when we were my dad and I really got gung ho about doing uh, a wood kind of a project on doing the wood identification, like I was talking with Spot earlier, and we were like, okay, maybe we can get one of those thin section slicers, and we can just like go straight to like make the thin sections and put the fun under the microscope and get to that, because I would say that my dad, he loves rock hounding, but he's definitely a lab scientist. Like he loves the microscope and he loves to get, all into experiments and tests and things like that. He's got an engineer's mind. He is an engineer. And so we looked at the prices on those things that make the thin sections. They were like, oh my gosh, you have to be an institution to be able to afford one of those. And so I was like, yeah, if I get a faceting machine, then I'll just be able to make the thin sections on that, because you can use that 45-degree arm to bring down and make a flat table, which you'd be grinding the slide to get that specimen that you glued to the slide that started off as a very, 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 very thin, say, slice that you sliced. And that's why I was talking about Spot with the Coprolite. I can take a thin slice on my saw and then grind it down till it's pretty darn thin, and then glue it to the slide, and then use the 45-degree angle on my faceting machine to grind it down until it's the appropriate thinness. And that would be the Coprolite, that would be the um all of the wood that we're looking at. So it's kind of cool because I can make beautiful gems out of that, and then I can also make beautiful experiments, and it's a tool for identifying those woods. And so I just got to get to it. And you guys know how good I am at sitting and like editing videos or doing some of the things I have to do. Right now, I'm having such a darn good time faceting. It's hard for me to turn it around and go, okay, no, like that dop, you're putting a slide on and you're going to grind that thin section. But I'm getting dangerously close, you guys. It's going to happen very soon. And let's see. Where are we at? The a digital microscope is definitely not expensive, and Lisa is providing that suggestion along with prices. And then actually, Rufo and I were having a chat over in the Discord. Which anybody who's not in the Discord, feel free to contact me, or like in the comments, or you can say so in the chat right now if you're doing this live, and we can provide you a link that's an invite. But we were talking about that, and there are actually, like, over at Amscope, there are like out of the box deals, and there's usually coupons, and they have sales all the time. And a lot of times, like with the boom microscope that I have, you can actually let me bring this a little bit into view. You can buy it almost kind of like in a modular way, and some of the other microscopes you can too. So this would be considered a stereo microscope, and I have the kind of lens where I can work underneath the microscope with room. Like I think I've got like between 4 and 6 inches of work room. Whereas if you imagine the other kind of microscope that has the platform and then the lenses, you've got a stage, then you don't have any room to work. Everything has to be super duper thin. And typically those go higher in magnification for less money. If you want high magnification on, say, like a zoom microscope like this guy, then you're spending a lot of money. But you can get into something like this for, a few $100s depending on what brand you get, and you might like not have that much magnification. Like you might only have up to 45 or 40 or something like that. The eyepieces are usually come in 10, and then you could actually, when you're ready, you could spend money on upgrading your eyepieces to 20s. So now I have 20x eyepieces instead of the 10x, so I can see the 10x plus whatever I've got for my lens that's down here, and have that magnification, and then you can add another 10 to that by having 20. Or like in the cases, so I have 10s and 20s, and then I also have for the magnification down here at the base, I have the 3 to 40 lens, and then I have the 45 to 90 lens. And so in that regard, you have some space because I could also buy another lens that would even give me more magnificent magnification from there. It would probably lessen my workspace. Um, and so, I want to work underneath this. I'm going to prep fossils, and I set gemstones underneath it, and work on settings that are very, very fine, engraving, all that kind of stuff. I need the workroom underneath it, and also for specimens like the stuff that we get from Kemmerer, the fossil fish. I also need to have it be able to have a boom arm that'll get it up over the specimen that I'm looking at. And so these are all things to, excuse me, think about when you're looking at some of the different tools that you might use for, your microscopy. So I have like the other kind of my microscope too. I've got a digital, and I also have the lab style microscope, and this one's trinocular too. It's got a camera mount. A lot of the microscopes, you can go ahead and put this same camera into one of the eye holes, so you can take pictures no problem, and you can see it on your screen, kind of like a digital microscope. You just aren't able to see it through the eyepieces. And then it'll only have whatever magnification like that shuttle, that eye area has, because you take the eyepiece out, and this is part of my magnification, if that made sense. And so that's just also another thing. If you're wanting to take pictures, then your camera's going to cost a little bit more, and then you have to figure out where is the camera taking the pictures from. A lot of people and a lot of different microscopes have like camera mounts for your phone. And so if you're not doing your live or whatever, your video with your phone, or, if you're just doing a video, yeah, stick it in the microscope. And so there's lots of options. There's so many different ways to be able to do this too. And not have to spend a whole lot of money. This is like part of my career. Like I am like invested in silversmithing and gemstones and settings and all that kind of stuff. So it makes sense for me to have this. But yeah, even if you just want to look at rocks, you can get into something that not only will be valuable for you to look through, but is upgradable. You can always improve the magnification as you go along. So invest in something cool, kind of like a good camera where you get the body and then you buy the different lenses. Is kind of like that. And so mini mini little thing about microscopes, get me started. I so excited about them. And Canadian Gemstones is asking, you can make thin sections with a flat lap or even a sheet of glass and grit. Yeah, exactly. I think that's actually what Patrick Donahue did in his video. And so, yes, you can definitely do them by hand. And that's absolutely the way that they used to do them, back before they had these like awesome machines that would just sprack them out. Just a little bit more time consuming. And I think you can even be just as accurate. You just have to have your calibration around. So something that you're able to get that all figured out. Oh my gosh, John, thank you so much. You're too generous. I do hope that that helps, and you didn't have to do that, but you know that I really appreciate it. And of course, it all goes to the toys that we all use. But seriously, if you need help, some guidance, feel free to reach out, and I'll help you any way that you can if you're like trying to decide between this or that, and getting your wheels spun up on being able to do my microscope thing is so much fun. So I was going in a direction. Oh, there's the Discord link. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. The Patrick Donahue has a video about how to make them in, I think, on the flat lap, and then also the by hand with the glass and grit. And it sounds like maybe you've done that too. Um, and that was, yeah, Canadian gemstones. So thank you for offering that. That's definitely something that like anybody who wants to try, you can definitely do it. And I think there's some pretty decent instruction videos and or articles that you can read on that. Although, like, I for sure, am looking forward to being able to hopefully expedite it a little bit quicker, by using the faceting machine, and, being able to just kinda hone in. Yes. Could you send a link for okay, so Diane, did you mean for the Discord? Because Allison just, put the Discord up there, and I have some pet wood and would really like to idea it. Yeah, Val. Um, and so if I get like into a really good method, then I'd be happy to do it for you. I need to get it all figured out, obviously. A species key would be great. Okay. That actually reminds me of something that I was supposed to do on my last live and I had forgotten. So, Inside Wood is a species key, and they are awesome. I'm pretty sure if you just Google Inside Wood or Inside Woods, you'll get this. It's a database for wood, and a lot of it, the predominant amount of it is specifically for fossil identification. So the Inside Woods are for like the pictures that they have in their galleries are the fossil woods thin sections. And so as long as, you can get that close to your wood, which a lot of the stuff you can actually see with a decent loop, like if you've got a loop that has a 20x on it, you're getting pretty close. And so if you can see cell structure and stuff like that, you can start sidling up to being able to they have a whole little questionnaire sort of thing where you go down the line and you make your identification based on if it has this or if it doesn't have that. And so it takes a little bit of understanding what the ingredients of the plant parts are that you're looking at. But after that, you're into ID land, and so that's a way to go. I will put a link in the description of this one and in the other video where I did promise to do the same because people are interested. And so you can hit that link, and then there's also a Facebook page that the lady does. They're part of a university, and they also have a Facebook presence, so you can actually interact with them as well, which is really really cool. And those guys are going off about Alexandrite, and I don't blame you. That stuff is so cool. Yes, Alleluia is so true. Microscoping is so addictive. I spend like more time than I would like to even uh, say under here. But it's very helpful, like seeing what kind of gems you've got and seeing what kind of job you did on a gem too. Like I love looking at the faceted gems underneath the microscope and going like, okay, like now I understand why I was not getting a polish on that face, you see like, oh yeah, that was the cleavage plane or whatever. It's really enlightening to be able to look at that. And yeah, thanks again, John. All right, that was what you were half remembering too, Spot. Awesome. Yes, for the Discord. Okay, Diane, I hope you got that. And let's see. Hallelujah. Been scammed, but not scammed. Just that my Rosie was lied to. Oh no, we told the person it was okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, I'm so sorry that you had trouble. I'm not entirely sure what that was like attached to as far as your comment went, but yeah, there's so many scammers out there. You do have to be really careful. And I know a lot of people that try to like buy things online, like all of us are, into getting gems and sometimes jewelry and that sort of thing online. And boy, you do have to be on your toes. So I'm so sorry for Rosie. That's so sad for me to hear, because for all the honest people, like all the vendors that you guys know that are here in the chat and sell you rocks and me rocks, it makes everybody a little bit more nervous and not trusting, and that's a bummer. I love our community though, because we know we can trust each other. That's awesome. So you guys, thank you so much. I never get to everything that I want to. Like I wanted to look at this fish bone too. I isn't that cool? Like what an interesting and unique configuration that guy is. I'm wondering if it's a really, really big vertebra of a fish, or if it's another part of a fish that has that shape to it. That's another one that we can drop in the acid actually and uncover some more of, because it's not like super precious. It would be more interesting to see a little bit more of it than to worry about that we're gonna ruin a great specimen. It was going to become sand if I didn't pick it up also. Most likely going out to sea, not yeah. Sometimes people like, "Oh, don't ruin it." That like if you went to Kent's, if you saw the podcast where we went to Kent's place where he's got so many fossils, that those are all being donated to um, Oregon USO. Yeah, yeah, um, and yeah, I think that it is. Yeah. So, anyways, so that a lot of times they don't even want some of them because there's so many. You guys have heard about like museum drawers and the cabinets at universities and stuff like that, just having like gobs and gobs and gobs. Like you take those to some of our fossil fest experiences and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just want to like, if anybody's sweating, like, oh, but what happens if that's something really super precious? You know, uh, these little bits of bone aren't stuff that's all articulated and could be diagnostic to a certain thing. Like gets way more interesting really quick. But I do be careful with the fossils that I try to prep. In case like maybe if I did like just uncover the rest of the matrix off of that and there was something really weird about it, then I could take it in. So it's all good. Don't I hope nobody worries too much about that. Every now and again I get something in the comments and I'm like, don't worry, it's okay. We're being careful. And I have like scientists around me that if I uncover something really cool, like they're gonna be able to help me out with it. All right. And so let's see. John is saying part of my problem I've been discovering lately is that the fakes are becoming harder and harder to discern. Oh, faceted gem wise, big time, John. And this like, is it fake when it's synthetic? Because a lot of times, they'll say sapphire, but oh, is it a real sapphire or is it a synthetic? And a synthetic is still considered real, like a laser. And so, anyways, that can be super hard to deal with. Yeah, and to know what you're getting into. And Alleluia is saying, this is why I'm making a video about the subject. Us honest vendors end up being affected because of scammers. And thank you. Yeah, that is a neat fossil. But yeah, you guys are on that subject, and it's it's difficult. And sometimes I'll receive something from somebody else that they want me to set, and I'm going like, you just need to know that this is what this is, so that you don't like think that me being the middleman had anything to do with some weirdness. But yeah, like it's rampant. Um and Patrick said, "Karen, you can always go live tomorrow." Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. And actually, I think that tomorrow I think we all get a day off. But initially, I was going live today because I thought that Theo was going to go live tomorrow. There's I think an outside chance that he might still, but I think he's planning now on Tuesday for his big festival of crazy killer rocks to buy. And so sorry if I'm keeping you up, Patrick. I will definitely I appreciate you guys all getting hanging out and being at the premiere. And I let's see, Kyle's back and he just tucked River in. Yeah, we're still here. Oh my gosh. Um and good night to Joseph. Val Summers says, she also found fossil needles in the area, so suspect it is a conifer. Yeah, very cool. Um, and yeah, big area, but it's awesome when you know your location and you've got some other fossils and things like that from the area. All those things can be so helpful for letting you know what you've got. I found a pine cone, and what's cool is that there's a really good uh, bit of data on the fossil record from around there. So it's easier for me to like hone in on what pine cone that might what tree that might belong to. So yeah, that's all very, very helpful. Um, yeah, and Alleluia is hoping that everybody is having a good night, and I certainly wish the same. And oh, Tiger Eye, hey, thanks for coming by. Cheers to you, and thank you again for your generosity on the last live stream. I hope that you're having a great evening as well. Um, and Alleluia is saying, yes, it's complicated. I hear you. Yeah. Right, and I agree. He's saying about like the if the vendor doesn't disclose it's synthetic and that sort of thing. I've had that happen with opal before I had opal eyes when I was really young. Um, and it's upsetting. And yeah, you start kind of learning what to look for and who you can buy from, because there's the questions that like when I cut my teeth in San Mateo and then at the Tucson gem shows, and you start learning to ask the right questions, but they don't always give you the right answers either, because they don't have to be responsible if they're like getting on a plane and going back to someplace. And it's like I'm not throwing shade at all. It's just sometimes that happens. And oh, I was saying that because you said you had things you didn't get to tonight. Oh yeah, all the times. Like Kyle. Yeah. So you guys are finally free. Well, good. I'm glad that like you're enjoying some downtime. All the stuff that I'm always trying to get to is like a colloid of like stuff always hanging over my head. Like I want to get back to faceting. You probably commiserate. I've got this peridot that is like dying to get finished. It's like I just took it off of the transfer, and its crown is all that is waiting. Um, and yeah, Spot brings up a great point about standard across the fields, like turquoise means different things to folks that are, absolutely professional than to crafters and that sort of thing. Very, very good point. That's so true. And I think so in most cases, John. Uh, That's another question. Hey, Patrick, if you're paying attention, John, I'm gonna put this up. Um, I watch a guy on Instagram that tries to figure out the jewelry, I think, that comes to his jewelry bench. Some of it is, antique and might have been purchased, in different situations. And so he's always trying to figure out, like, is it real or is it fake? Is it costume jewelry or is it something that's excuse me, expensive, or is it natural? And so he's constantly using a refractometer on that. And then, a metal tester and that sort of thing. So Patrick, short answer, no. All right, thank you. So there you have that. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Hey, Kirk is in the house. My gosh, you like all these like we're getting like the second wave from the other sides of Mary's Peak. Hopefully it's not too chilly and not too snowy for you guys. It was so cold on the beach yesterday and today. I hope that you're staying warm, Kirk. Um, let's see. Yes, honesty matters is the bottom line. Hallelujah. Here, here. Cheers to you all. Cheers for hanging out. Thank you guys so much for doing so. I so much appreciate you guys, and I thought it would be fun to do a crazy Sunday night. And yeah, who's to say that we just don't go live every night, right? Somebody's gonna be live every night. It's gonna start happening. I mean, shoot, he's got a rap party probably at some point. We've got Alleluia has wonderful lives. We have Theo who's gonna sprack out a hardcore live here at some point very, very soon, hopefully in the next couple of days. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Patrick. A lab grown sapphire, for example, is the same as the natural stone. However, if it is if it's a simulant glass being passed off as a sapphire, then yes, it will tell you. Okay, so at least you can kind of sidle up and get close. I like that. So you guys are so interesting. I love the chat. And I know I still probably missed some really fantastic stuff in the chat, but I missed so much on Friday. I had to have a rebate with you guys. And Alleluia is saying my refractometer and my microscope in conjunction are the two most important gemology tools I have. Yeah. When I get to emeralds and rubies, people might have aneurysms. You're right. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out for this stream. I hope to be able to hang out for one of yours very soon. And the podcast crew will be live every day. I know, right? It's kind of like that pan flute band that like is at every single festival and then they end up on your lawn and they're following you. Like we're like playing Sound of Silence on the pan flute, but it's like the podcast crew and we're doing lives. So, anyways, thank you so much. And cheers. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks again for all of your generosity, Lisa and Kyle and Diane and Spot and Allison and Kirk and Alleluia and Tiger Eye and John and Jackie and all y'all that were here earlier that I'm not seeing right now. I love you. We'll see you the next time. Cheers, Steinkern, and good night.